Hello and welcome back. So it's been about a year since I started this channel, and in that time I've managed to just hit 1,000 subs, which first of all let me say thank you very much everyone. It's a really surreal thing. Obviously to a lot of people 1,000 probably doesn't seem like much, but to go from nothing to 1,000 subs is kind of an interesting journey. To make stuff and put it on the internet and have people actually watch it and enjoy it, like that's a hell of a drug. So thank you everyone, I really appreciate that. And here's to the next 1,000 and beyond. So what are we doing today? As you probably guessed by the title, we are tier listing ourselves. If you thought tier lists were meta before, we're getting even more meta. So I have got every single video that I've ever made down here, minus those that are repeats or repurposed content. You know, there's a few cases where I've edited something I've made and turned it into a short. I haven't included duplicates, obviously. And I'm going to tier list them based on how good I think they are. So this isn't based on how well they did. This is just based on my personal opinion of how good they are as videos. So yeah, trip down memory lane. It'd be really interesting. Preparing for this, I went back and watched all my old videos, and I didn't think I'd improve that much, but man, I made some real bad mistakes in the past. But yeah, that just shows that I've gotten better. So if you know all these, then you get a gold star for being a Renderscape superfan. If you don't know all these, then what are you doing? Go back and watch them. So in no particular order, let's get to it. So first of all, we have, Molyneux Snoot Appreciation post. This one, I made this because those Borozzi let me do it for you videos were trending, and I just wanted to make one. And I imagine that like 90% of people had never seen a Molyneux, so I thought it'd be funny to make this. I think basically no one saw it. It's a pretty lazy video. It's okay. I'm putting it in C tier. It's okay, yeah. Not much to say on that one. I was playing to a trend. It wasn't a RuneScape trend. It's fine. Next up. Puss in Boots is not a maths guy. I like this one. It's pretty good. I think the joke is funny. Yeah, it's just a simple green screen joke, but that Puss in Boots is so good, and that scene is so meme worthy that I think it puts it up there. Not much else to say on that one. It's pretty good. When PKs kill you in the wilderness, because even though you have nothing. This one's a banger. Yeah, this is going in banger tier, definitely. I love that one. I think that one came out really well. Yeah, I like that one. What have we got next? Oh, the wise old Chad. So again, as with most of these, well, as with a lot of these, I got inspired by seeing a particular thing. Was like, I should make a RuneScape one of that. And this was those Chad Funk edits that you see everywhere in shorts and TikTok. I like this one. It didn't get any traction. I think it's okay. I'm gonna put it in C tier. I think I need to do better with the visual effects on that sort of thing, and it's not something I know that much about. So yeah, I'll get better on that. But it's a C tier. When you finally max with Hans Moleman, the joke is good. It's a short. I think shorts in general are going to be fairly lower rated because it's hard to rate yourself high on a video that took so much less time to make. So, you know, B. Yeah, it's pretty good. Running versus walking. I love this one. I think both halves of the joke are hilarious. The second half is so good that I turned it into a full video. I loved that. I love this one. It's going in banger tier. I think it's really funny. Even though I just said the shorts don't really get that high. But like that one, I put a lot of effort into that one for a short. Okay, pickpocketing the ID9. This is one of my very first shorts. Again, I think the joke is really good. There's no voice acting. This was before I started doing that. But the joke is really good, so I'm putting this in A tier. I think, you know, that scene is perfect for what it's implying, so I'm putting it in there. This one. I think it's titled RuneScape versus Nihilism. This is, I think, the very first RuneScape video I made. I made this before I even had a RuneScape channel. I do think it's the very first RuneScape video I made. The joke is funny. It's simple. It's very simple. It's like a voice meme. I'm putting it in C tier. It's okay. I like the joke. But, you know, it's not big enough to go higher than that. Mole Lemon. The joke is good. Editing is fairly simple. I hadn't figured out the right way to handle the difference in aspect ratio between long videos and short videos, so that's why it's got these weird green sections around the outside. I came up with a better method for that later. I think I'm going to put that in C tier. It's okay. I like the joke, but it's really simple. This one is a placeholder for a lot of videos. I went through a series of doing TARBs, you know, the RuneScape Battle Simulator quick battles. I made a lot of them. They did fairly well because people went through a stage of people being really into TARBs. I will make some more TARBs just when I get around to it. So this is a placeholder for all of those, because including all of the individual battles, there's not much difference between them. I like them because they're easy to make, but you know, they're okay. Like, I can't really give them more than that. The concept is nice. I'm glad they exist. They're good to fulfill people's curiosity, but are they great content? No, they're okay. We've got our first long video. I say long because it's the opposite of short, but that's not. No one calls them that. No one calls them longs. This is our first full-size video. The Highlander Man main theme, full version on its own. Oh man, where do I put this? So this was made for me by a guy I found on Fiverr. He's a lovely guy. He plays real, authentic, like Celtic instruments, like bagpipes, Julian pipes, tin whistle, medieval whistle, that sort of stuff. And he plays them and he records songs on them. And I got him to. And this poor guy, I came to him with asking for a cover of the RuneScape main theme, and he's never heard of it in his life. And I found some sheet music and I gave it to him, and I was like, I've got no clue how this is going to turn out. And he smashed it out of the park. Like, he did way better than he had any right to. This song is an absolute banger. I listen to it all the time. It's a shame that most people probably haven't heard it, because it is so good. If you haven't, like, bro, what are you doing? Go listen to it. It's so good. It's like super authentic. He really smashed it. I really wanted to hire him to do some more stuff, but I just haven't had the money to do so. Because you got to pay them fairly for their time. If I ever get some more money on hand, I will hire him to do some more if I can think of a reason to use it. As for the video itself, it is just the song, and I didn't make the song, so I can't take credit for it. I'm going to put it in OK tier, not because the song is bad, but because, I didn't put that much effort into it myself. I just paid the guy to do it. So I can't take any more credit for it than that. Moving on. Voice acting volume 2. This one is. D tier. This is my first D tier. See me after class. The reason being, this was an idea I had. I wanted to improve my voice acting, so I thought I would make a lot of these, voicing characters I like in RuneScape. After the first two, I listened back to them. It's like, they're not great. I realized that my ability to do sort of impressions isn't great. I'll probably talk about this more in other videos, when I talk about other videos further down the line, but I was trying to improve my voice acting, and it was fun to do, but I don't think my impression ability is actually that great. So same for the second one, D tier. They're okay. Like, the lines with the goblins are fun, and the lines with rants are fun, but that's just the writing of the game. The RuneScape's got pretty good writing. And voicing them was fun, but I'm not actually that great of a voice actor. I'm trying to be, but I'm not there yet. I'm still working on it. So yeah, D tier for them. Well, we'll keep trying on that. This is the one where I organize. This is my bank organizing video. Cringe. I don't know what I was thinking with this. I was trying to do a RuneScape equivalent of like those satisfying videos you see all everywhere, and I was thinking, oh, maybe bank organizing videos will become this new trend. But the video sucks. It did force me to reorganize my weapons tab, which is good because I did need to do that. But meh, the video is not great. I'm kind of questioning why I even made it. It's okay, but yeah, it's not. It's just I tried. I took an attempt. It didn't pan out, and we moved on. You know, that's fine. Okay, so this video's had a lot of different titles. Frank Grimes will grats no more when your clanmate gets too spooned. I can't remember exactly what it's called now. This is S tier. I worked on this for over a week. It's probably my most time-consuming meme edit of all time. It's definitely the longest. It's so good. I mean, the original Simpsons scene with Frank Grimes is an absolute classic. And then obviously I took it to some ridiculous level with RuneScape, with so many jokes that are in there. And yeah, maybe I'm not too much, but like, I love this one. It's a real shame to me that this one didn't do very well. It's sitting on about 600 views. I'll probably complain about this till the day I die. The discrepancy between the amount of effort you put into a video and how well it does is so wide. And I hear this from the bigger creators all the time. I don't think anyone can predict how well their video is going to do. You know, you hear creators like, oh, I put so much effort into this and no one watched it. And then, oh, I shot this out in 3 minutes and it's doing great. You know, it is what it is. It's a shame it didn't do better. I really like it, but I'm really proud of it. Even if it doesn't do well, it's a great video. I think that one's a banger. This one. So when Iron Man dared to choose for updates, it was a joke I thought of. I thought it was funny. It's medium at best. It's pretty mediocre. It's a short. The joke is fine. I posted it on Reddit and a bunch of people got into this huge argument as to whether or not Iron Man chose to limit themselves and therefore shouldn't get any updates. But to the day I die, I think it's reasonable for Iron Man to ask for some amount of reasonable updates, but that's just me. I wanted to make fun of the people who constantly spout, you choose to limit yourself like it means something. But yeah, it's a medium video. It was never going to be more than that, and that's fine. Widescape. I love the joke. Putin walking wide memes are really funny to me. But this video suffers from a common problem. Well, not common problem, but a problem with a few of these where the joke is played out in the first 10, 15 seconds, and there is no reason to watch the whole thing. He's wide, he's walking, the music's playing, but other than that, there's nothing going on. So there's no reason to watch the whole thing. I made this because I liked the second half of this video a lot, so I decided to extend it. It's fine. I'm gonna put it in C tier. Yeah. We didn't start the drama. Oh man. I really want to put this in classic tier. This took a lot of effort. You would not believe how hard it is to take the lyrics of one song and turn them into something else in a way that still works and sounds right. I had to make it rhyme at the right points, the right number of syllables. I had this huge list of RuneScape topics in a notepad, and I would try and mold them into the original lyrics, swapping them out one at a time until I got what I got. And yeah, and I do think the final lyrics are really good. And I managed to, I think it came out really good. And bringing in the other people as well for the chorus, they really did a really good job. But at the end of the day, I'm not a very good singer. And so no offense to those who helped me. I'm bringing this down as here because I think my singing holds it down. I don't think I've got a very good singing voice. I think it's okay. I think it's funny, but I think my lack of singing talent kind of holds it back. Oh, one thing that's quite funny about this. I was a few days through working on this, really excited about it, when I saw Xtile's video on the exact same topic. And for a moment, I was like, damn, someone got to my idea first. And I was like, should I bother making it? But then at the end of it, I was like, you know what? I'm still going to make it because I think they'll be different enough to warrant it. And I still think that. I think X's version is probably better than mine. His singing voice is way better than mine. But I'm glad that they still both exist because, you know, I think they're different enough to be interesting. And honestly, X's version inspired me to try harder and make mine better. So, you know, I think in the end it ended up pretty cool. But it's just like, yeah, I had this idea in my notes for months before I finally sat down to make it. And then a few days after I start making it, someone makes the exact same idea. It's like, what are the chances? Yeah, but anyway, it turned out good. So I'm putting it down a tier just because I think my singing doesn't really do it justice. But yeah, I still like that one. Oh, this one. Stop updating RuneScape. This one is the most disliked video I've made. And when I posted it, a huge number of people thought I was being serious and that I genuinely thought that RuneScape shouldn't be updated. Definitely pose law coming into effect. You know, if you post something on the internet that is overly extreme, unless you explicitly tell people, some of them will think you're serious. And at first I was like, damn, what are people dumb? But really, I think my joke writing could have been better on this one. I think I could have made it more obvious that it's a joke. So I really do think that comes up in my joke writing. It's based on a meme about maths, which I really like. I'm going to put it on D tier because, like I said, my joke writing could be better to make it more obvious that it's meant to be a joke. I do think it's funny, but I could do better. So D tier for that one. Reading RuneScape negative reviews. This one did really well. I like the thumbnail. I'm noticeably bad at thumbnails. It's something I need to work on more. I have a hard time coming up with good ideas on how to, especially when you're making meme videos, I have a hard time figuring out a good way to portray that concept in thumbnails. So my click-through rates are often not very great. But I think this one I did quite well. The video itself, I really like it. It's me doing dumb voices, which is what is like my number one thing to do. I didn't want it to be just me reading the reviews, and I actually wanted to add like an extra layer to it. You know, adding so the football chant section in the middle. That's probably my favorite part. I'm gonna put it in B tier. It's pretty good. I think some of the jokes are a bit flat, and they could be better. But yeah, I put it there. Peak agility training in 2005 or Lee Carvalho's Skullball challenge. This is obviously the Simpsons scene it's based on is a banger, and the amount of effort I put in to make it like authentic to the original, I think is really cool. It didn't do very well. It sat on like 200, 300 views. I think it's hard to portray the concept of what it is in the title and the thumbnail. It's very niche. I mean, all my videos are pretty niche, but this one's really niche. It's a very specific Simpsons scene combined with a very specific piece of RuneScape content, Skullball, which a lot of people probably haven't done unless they played, you know, a long time ago. I really like it. Where do I put it? I think B tier. I don't know. I still laugh when I watch this one. The line at the end, "Ball is in Canifis," man, that is. I think that's a banger. I'm moving up to A tier. I might change my mind later, but I really like this one. Right-click roulette rap. Oh god. So this is the only video on my channel to be age restricted, with good reason, if you know what's in this one. This was inspired by Filthy Frank's porn title rap, which is a banger. So yeah, I love this one. Again, my singing ability is pretty terrible. Probably worse than in We Didn't Start the Drama. So I do think that holds it down a bit. The opening and ending, the opening part I put in, and some of the ending I put in is pretty cringe. I should have just gotten right into it rather than having that intro. I think the reason I did that was that I was hoping that if the swearing didn't start for like 30 seconds into the video, then I wouldn't get age restricted. because this is age restricted, not a lot of people saw it because of age restriction rules. So I was trying to get around that, but that didn't work anyway, and it still got age restricted. So I probably should have just cut that out. I cringe a bit when I watch the start of it. The joke is good. The songwriting could be a bit better to make it flow better. My singing isn't great. I'm gonna put it in B tier. I like it. I do want to make a second one at some point. I just haven't gone around to it. It's quite a time-consuming one to make because you've got to gather together like 100 names and time them all out properly and write the lyrics and stuff. So it takes quite a while to make. The people who saw it did like it, which I'm obviously very grateful for because it's so dumb. The thumbnail as well, I think maybe it's not clear that it's a RuneScape video. It's an issue I have a lot. So yeah, I'm going to put it in B tier. I can do better on that. Happy Birthday Ratscape. This is the same problem that Widescape has. The joke is over in the first 5 seconds, and then it's just on loop. I do add more and more rats as the song goes, which gets very chaotic, and because they're all green screened, it almost made my computer melt because there was too many layers going on in Adobe. But yeah, so the Rat's Birthday song by Germa is like that sort of content is something I really aspire to make, something that's got that much enduring meme potential. He recorded that at this point over 10 years ago. I think it's like 2013 or something. I'm gonna edit it on screen to tell you what year it is because I can't remember right now. But yeah, one of my goals in life is to make something with, you know, with as much enduring meme potential as the Rat's Birthday song, because that is so good. And it finds its way just all over the place. It's amazing. So yeah, I wanted to celebrate RuneScape's birthday. I made something dumb, but the video itself it's fine. But the joke is over in the first few seconds. I'm gonna put it in C tier. It's fine. Super Hands runs to Lumbridge. Oh man, this was my first time making my own green screen, so clipping the character out from the background. It's not great. It's a bit janky. Green screening like that is really just a measurement of your patience. The more time you can be asked to put into it, the better it will look. And I think it looks okay, but it can be better. But I don't have the time to make it perfect. So I made it good enough. The voice acting is fine. I don't think I can do Super Hands' voice justice, which is a shame. The joke itself, I think, is really good. When it switches the camera from hands on the floor to Super Hands on the floor to hands in Lumbridge looking at him, which is the same as the original scene, that always gets me. I like that. I'm really proud of how that ended up. My voice acting could be better, and yeah, it's quite a niche reference. You know, only people who know RuneScape and Peep Show would be able to enjoy it, but that's the story of all my videos. So I'm going to put it in B tier. The green screening could be better, voice acting could be better, but I think the joke is solid. This is playing RuneScape in 2005 while your parents argue downstairs. It's got like 6,000 views or something, or 3,000. It's got way more than it should, really. It's such a dumb joke. This is the most baffling video on my channel. It's like why this has so many views. I made it quite early on, and it blew up by my standards. And I to this day cannot understand why. I made it because I wanted to get better at audio editing. I was learning a lot of stuff with Audacity, and I wanted to see what I could make. And I was listening to a bunch of those songs where it's like Scarface, push it to the limit, but you're being chased by the police. You know, where they take a song and they edit it to put it in like context, and so it makes this story around it. And I was listening to loads of those, and I really liked them. So it's like, let's make a RuneScape one, and let's make something depressing because why not? And I like how it turned out. It is a surreal and kind of depressing experience, but like, why does this have so many views? I don't know. Some of the jokes on it, as awful as they are really funny. I think it's okay. Like, it's not something I would point to and say, yes, this is what you should watch me for. it achieved the goal it was trying to achieve. I wish other videos really that I cared about more got more as much attention as this did, but that's the name of the game. I like it. It's fine. I'm going to put it there. And I'm realizing I'm probably going to have to extend this somehow. So when we get to the end, I'll figure out a way of doing that. Pick it up. This is, I think I titled it The Last Thing Your Hardcore Iron Man Sees. So I'd just seen the Puss in Boots movie. This scene is great for memes. I didn't make the green screen, so I can't take credit for that. There's some really good green screens that other people have made that I borrowed for this. The joke is good. It's on about 900 views. It's very simple. There's no voice acting. It's, you know, it's fine. I like it. I'm going to put it in B tier. The joke is good. It's very short. It's very simple, but I think it's an effective joke. So, overconfidence in PKing. This is another baffling one in that it's got quite a lot of views for what it is, especially compared to my other stuff. The joke is weird. I just seen that Simpsons episode where he goes to they try to sue Mr. Burns, and I wanted to make a joke of that scene. The joke is weird. It's about PKing in the wilderness. I don't think it translates that well. You know, some of the jokes that are like, I think when I say translate, I mean like how well the original scene fits the joke I'm trying to force into it. I don't think this one fits as well as some others. I didn't do the scream at the end. This is something that I learned later on. It's quite jarring when you switch between parts that are voiced by me and the original voice acting. I should just, from now, I'll be maintaining that where if I voice some of it, I'll voice all of it. And obviously the original voice actors are better than me because they're professional voice actors. So that's why I kept the original scream, because I didn't think I could do the scream justice. But then I think it sounds worse this way because it's a bit jarring to switch between them. But that's just me. I think the thumbnail's quite nice. I like how that turned out. I'm going to put it in C because, yeah, I don't think the joke translates that well. I think it's funny. It's very short, but, you know, it could be better. Forestry is weird and scary. This was inspired by a bunch of Twitter posts that I'd read that day that people were complaining about forestry. It's this cycle that we always go through with updates. The update comes out and we get loads of people enjoying it. Everyone's tweeting, everyone's on Reddit. Oh, I love the new update. This is so great. Everyone makes videos about it. And then about a week later, you get people come out and they say, the new update's not very good. I don't like the new update. You know, things should be as they used to be and whatever. Why do we keep changing stuff? And this is just making fun of them. I don't want to say like, you know, I'm not trying to talk crap about those people. You know, if you don't like stuff, you're entitled to that opinion. I'm not gonna trash you for it, but I am gonna make joke meme videos about you. Where do I rate this? I'm putting this in the classic tier. I think this one's a banger. The scene's amazing. It translates really well. The ending, I know it's a bit depressing for a meme video, but I'm really happy with that. Proud of how that turns out. I think this one's great throughout. So I'm putting that in classic tier. Modash finally snaps. First of all, the thumbnail sucks. I don't know what I was thinking. This is one of my early videos, so I didn't really know what I was doing with thumbnails. So it could definitely be a lot better. I made this the day after another video that's coming up went sort of semi-viral. And yeah, I was riding that wave, and you know, I got really excited and I made this one in like the next 2 days afterwards. I went crazy hard making this video as fast as I could because I really wanted to ride that success wave. Is it good? I really like it. There's things that can be better. Obviously it's an old video, so my voice acting has, I think, has improved quite a bit since then. So, you know, looking at it now, I see a lot of points where I was like, yeah, I could have done that line better. Yeah, I should have re-recorded that. There's a lot of points where I randomly forget to put the hat on a character, like they're from a weird angle, and I just forgot to put it on, and I didn't notice, or I didn't think it mattered, and that's kind of jarring. It did really well. This is like a 9K view video, which is a lot for me. especially starting out when I was on like 200 subs at this point. I want to put it in classic tier because it's the scene is really good, the concept is good. I think it translates quite well, but my voice acting isn't quite good enough. Obviously, I can't do a Mod Ash impression, so I'm going to bump it down to A for that. I think it's good. I mean, maybe if I get big enough one day, I'd ask Mod Ash to try and dub it, but I can't imagine him actually getting angry ever, so he probably would want to do it. But man, that would be so funny if I could get that. But yeah, I'm gonna put it there for now. I'm proud of that one, but I think my lack of experience kind of holds it back a bit. Man getting hit by ice barrage. This one, the joke writes itself so well. It's such a great joke, but I think it's so simple that I couldn't figure out what else to do with it. Like at the end, Homer's laugh loops 3 times. It's weird and jarring because I couldn't think of anything else to do with it. I couldn't think for any way to translate the original line, give that man the $10,000. I couldn't think of anything to translate that into to keep the joke going. So it just sort of ends and fizzles out, and it's like, it's fine, but I think it holds it down back. I'm going to put it as B. The joke is good, but I feel like it needs more. Oh boy, this one. OSRS players designing a new skill. This is the video that really kickstarted my channel. I went from less than 100 subs to about 300 from this one video, which is huge for me. And the views from it account for like 80% of all views on my channel. It's on about 80k, which is like astronomical for me. Yeah, the scene, the original scene translates really well to the joke, I think. Obviously, the original scene carries it a lot because the original scene is so good. It's hard to talk about, what I did well when I'm talking about redubbing Simpsons scenes, because obviously Simpsons is so good, and I'm really piggybacking off the quality of that show. So I don't want to take too much credit, because obviously the original scene is really good. I think the joke translates well, but watching this back now, there are so many like editing mistakes that I've made. There's like weird cuts in places that don't make sense. I've just randomly cut out lines and stuff. Like, I don't know what I was thinking. The thumbnail could be a lot better, but ultimately I have to put this in classic tier. This is S tier. Like, I owe this channel's entire success to that video, basically. It just did so well, and I am really proud of it. I think it comes out really well. There's an infinite number of things I would improve, but I still think it belongs in S tier. It's so good. Dr. Livesey PKing in OSRS. So again, the Dr. Livesey and the Russian Treasure Island memes were huge at this point. I absolutely loved them. The funk walk stuff. That's why I made this. It took me weeks to animate this. I had to take the original scene and I traced by hand. I said by hand, not on the computer, but I traced over every single scene one by one until I had the entire walk cycle, and it took forever. It took like over 2 weeks. Now, I'm a pretty slow worker, so it takes me longer than most people to do this sort of thing, but and I'm no artist. The art style is not great because I'm not an artist, but I am really proud with how this turned out. And ultimately, the original reason I made it was for an opening gag in Highlander Man, which we haven't got to yet. So a lot of you probably don't even know about Highlander Man other than this theme song, but we'll get to that later. That's the original reason I made it, was for an opening gag. Then I made a full version of it. I think this is S tier for me personally. Seeing Dr. Livesey and the gang walk in RuneScape armor, I think it's so funny. And the amount of effort I put into it, I think it deserves that spot. After the initial joke, it has the same problem as like Widescape and Ratscape. The joke ends after about 30 seconds and then it's on a loop, because I wanted to do the full song, and maybe that was greedy of me. Probably I shouldn't have done that. There are other jokes in there, like the caption changes, but I can see from analytics that no one looked at them and they just skipped to the end, so fair enough. But I'm really proud of this one. I'll never do it again because the amount of effort and time it takes to make animations like that is far beyond what I'm capable of. But I'm so glad that it exists. So yeah, S tier for me. This one, I can't actually remember what the original video is called. Is it Rendy gets banned for bug abuse, or I can't remember what this one's called. But anyway, the joke is that there's no voice acting in this one. The joke is that Rendy, it's a play on that part, on that time that Jagex went crazy and banned Rendy. I don't know if Rendy ever saw this. I kind of hope he did. He's one of my big inspirations for making RuneScape videos. I love his content. Rendy did nothing wrong, by the way. I don't know if he's ever seen this. I hope one day he does, just because that would be cool. I like the joke. It's okay, video wise. There was nothing for me to voice act, so that's why I didn't bother. The lines work perfectly as they are. I'm gonna put it in B tier. I think it's fine. It's quite simple. There's not really anything I could add to it, so I can't. It's not like I could make it a higher tier by adding more to it. But I just think there's not enough to it to warrant putting it higher. Wallace hammering in RuneScape for 5 minutes, except it's not really Wallace. Yeah, D tier. This video, again, Wallace hammering memes were big at the time. I wanted to make a joke RuneScape one, but the joke ends in the first 5 seconds and then it's just a loop. There's no reason to watch it. It's just a really silly joke. And obviously that is the original point of those videos. It's like Wallace hammering for 66 hours, lol. But I could have done better. If I was making it now, I probably would have tried to green screen Wallace into it rather than just using a RuneScape character, or made a RuneScape character that looks like Wallace. I could have done a lot of things better with this. It's a dumb joke. I didn't put any effort into it. I could do better. And it's pretty old, and it's not something that people are going to come to my channel for. Ghoul Slayer tasks. Again, this is a scene that translates perfectly into the joke. This one is funnier if it loops. The more times it loops, the funnier it gets. A tier for this one. The thumbnail sucks, again, but the joke I think is perfect. It doesn't need anything else. It's great. Just put this on loop and leave it for 5 minutes. And even though I've just said that looping videos aren't good, this one is the exception, because the longer you watch it, I think, the funnier it gets, just like the original scene. And yeah, I think it translates really well. So I'm going to put that in A tier. A cruel RuneScape thesis, or com sus RuneScape, depending on how authentic you want to be. So if you thought my other videos were niche, this is a RuneScape crossed with Neon Genesis Evangelion meme, based on the pose your character makes when picking herbs, that glitch pose. I put a lot of effort into the thumbnail to make it look like the Evangelion poster, but most people probably won't pick up on that because who the hell would? It's not really funny. It's mostly just unsettling. It's really strange. I thought of the idea when picking herbs and once and seeing the weird glitch T pose your character does, which has always confused me. But it's not really a joke. It's just kind of weird. I like it, but I don't know. I don't really know what to do with it. I'm going to put it in C tier, and as you can all see, we've run out of space. So editing me will cut this part out. I'm going to make it bigger. And we're back. So I just made it a bit wider. So hopefully, although now that I look at it, there's only space for one more. Might have to edit it again. Let's see. Moving on. Do you like Sea Shanty 2? Instant S classic tier. This one's a banger. American Psycho memes are evergreen funny. This scene is funny on its own. It gets funnier once you add RuneScape to it. I think it's amazing. That's just me. I know I've only just made it. It's weirdly only getting barely any views for some reason. I don't know why. It did really well on Reddit, but on YouTube, no one seems to be clicking on it. Or maybe YouTube's just not recommending it to anyone. I don't really know. I really like it. I do think that my voice acting doesn't do it justice. I can't do a good impression of, Christian Bale doing Patrick Bateman. Just the way it is, I don't have the voice for it, I don't think. But I think it's funny. It's really good. Yeah, I think that's a banger. So that's going in classic tier. I probably shouldn't have called A banger tier if I'm going to keep calling things an S bangers, but hey ho. In the same vein, comparing collection logs is an instant S tier. That is just, again, the original scene is so funny. It translates so well, and I think I did a pretty good job. I made this about 6 months ago, and the difference in voice quality, I think, shows quite a lot. I think I'm too close to the microphone for a lot of the lines, and it makes things sound weird. I'm hoping I fix that now in my future videos, but so there's a few things I would change. There's a few scenes where I see hats gliding off as well into weird places, which if I could, I'd go back and fix, but that's not how YouTube works. Once it's up, it's up, and if you were to delete it and re-upload it, you'd lose all those views, and it's just not worth it. So you just kind of have to leave it as it is. But again, I really like this one, and this was the, as far as I can remember, the second banger hit that I had. After RuneScape players making a skill, this one, it wasn't until this video, I think, that I started to actually get some subs again. Not to sound ungrateful, just the average video that I make gets less than 10 subs for the channel. Just the nature of being a small channel, I think, is that you're kind of waiting on that next viral hit to take you to the next level, rather than, steady, sustained growth. Or maybe that's just the nature of meme channels. I'm not sure. Not every meme is going to land with every person, and some memes are going to be more viral than others. I'm not sure exactly, but anyway, I like the way that turned out. The one mistake I really hate is that the scene where he shows his Fight Caves collection log, it's not green logged, even though he's got everything, and I think that's because the source image I used was photoshopped. It wasn't genuine. And someone in my clan pointed that out to me 5 minutes after posting it, and it's going to annoy me forever. I can't believe I didn't notice that, but yeah, just one mistake that's funny that I noticed in that. Moving on. Recipe for Disaster, Evil Dave. So again, I just watched Puss in Boots. Jack Horner is a great character. I wanted to do more scenes with him, so I did this one. I didn't voice act it. I'm not really sure why. I think I could have done it justice, and I think it would have been better if I did. I think I was feeling lazy that day. I wasn't feeling up to voice acting, but I still wanted to make something, and I paid the price because this video's on 200 views, and yeah. But again, I think the thumbnail's bad. It doesn't translate very well into what it's trying to show, so fair enough. And for that, I'm going to put it in D tier. The joke is fine. It's okay, but I think I can do a lot better than that. World Without Iron Men. This is a pretty, I don't know, when I wrote it, when I thought of it originally, I'd seen the scene with Lionel Hutz, and I thought, oh, this joke would be funny, and I made it, and I released it, and I'm kind of underwhelmed by it. It's okay, but I don't think the joke isn't as funny out loud as it was in my head. And there's just a lot of little things in it I could have done better. So again, I'm going to put it in D tier because I think I can do better than that. Attentional RuneScape gamers. Oh man, this is a really early one. It's attentional Fortnite gamers, but for RuneScape. It was something that didn't exist yet. I really wanted it to exist, so I made it. But again, my voice acting is not great. I don't do the right voice. I don't do it justice. And it comes out very awkward. And look at that thumbnail, man. That's before the text isn't even yellow. It's weird. It's before I really figured out a lot of things. So again, I'm tempted to put it in cringe tier, to be honest. I think it's really not as good as it could be. And if I was doing it now, I think I could do it a lot better. Yeah, I'm gonna put it in cringe tier. No, am I? No, I'm sorry. No, I'm gonna put it in D tier. It's not as bad as cringe tier. I think it could be a lot better, but I think it's okay. Apothecary. Man. So this is a joke based on the Potion Seller meme, which is one of my favorite memes of all time. I watch that constantly, and it always gets me laughing. That guy is, I don't know how he came up with that because it's so funny. And again, is the sort of guy that I aspire to be, to make a video that is so innately funny as Potion Seller is, that it's, you know, he made that like 13 years ago or something dumb. It's so old and it's so good, and it's just going to be eternally funny. And one day I hope I can make something as good as that. And yeah, so Apothecary is my tribute to that, but the voice acting is not good. I haven't done it justice. I tried to record this like a dozen times. I didn't like the way it was coming out every single time, and eventually I just took a take that was good enough, but it still wasn't that good. Like what I should have done is I should have shelved it and came back to it later when I felt more up to it, but I didn't. I just chucked it out the door, and I could have done a better job. So yeah, I'm gonna put it in D tier because I could do better. I could have put more effort into the writing. I think there were opportunities to do some better jokes in there. My voice acting wasn't as good as it needed to be. I didn't do it justice. So I'm gonna put a D tier. Runeholics Anonymous. This whole video was made specifically so I could make the Hans Moleman "I'm 31 years old" joke for RuneScape because it's perfect for that. The other jokes are not as good. The Ned joke I don't think is that good. The Otto guy joke I really like with the RSI and the fingers cracking. That's funny. And the rest is okay, but I made it for a purpose. I extended it around that purpose. It's fine. I'm gonna put it in B. I like it. It's quite funny, but I think I could do better. Tarbs. This is Tarbs number 3, which is Calphite Queen fighting the Fight Caves and some others fighting the Fight Caves. Tarbs as a concept, I really like. I sat down and I made a battle simulator, you know, with code. It's got all the authentic RuneScape mechanics, but I really think I suck at doing live content. You know, I say as I'm sat here doing live content. I keep making more because I really want to get better at it, but I am not very good at presenting something live and making it interesting. There's long stretches where I'm just sat there and it's silent. I can't think of anything to say. But I don't want to cut it out the video because I don't want to remove parts of the fight, because I want people to be able to see it. But there's a lot of dead air and I'm not very good at filling it. And I'm trying to get better at it, but I'm not there yet. So I think that's the main thing that holds Tarbs back, is that, you know, the concept I think is really good, and people genuinely do like it. The series blew up on Reddit when some guy asked randomly, would 2,000 men win against Jad? And I was like, oh, I made that, by the way. And I posted it and I got like 400 subs in 2 days from people finding me from Reddit. I could see them all searching for me, which is like, you know, kind of mind blowing. Really didn't expect that when I said that. I just said it offhand, like, oh, by the way, if you want to see it, I can make it. And they all found me, and that's really cool. And if any of you are watching, thanks for finding me out. But so yeah, I really like the series. It's I kind of lose steam when I make a lot of it with the quick battles. I went through like a week straight of making one every day, but I kind of get bored of making it. They do okay. I like making them, but after a while, I get fatigued making them. I will go back to it. I will make more, but it's not something I can make 24/7. I'm too much. I get bored too easily to make the same thing all the time. So as for these videos, I think I've got them. Yeah, I've got all 3 of them here. The introducing it, the God Wars bosses, and the Fight Caves. I think they're kind of all the same. They all suffer from the same problems, which is that I'm not very good at live content. But I like the concept. I'm going to put them in C tier because I think because of that. But I don't think there's enough differences between them to really warrant like tiering them differently. And I need to extend it again. I will see you in a minute. And we're back. So let's arrange that properly. And I'm probably going to run out of space again. I'm going to have to start putting things not in C tier so that I don't run out of space. There we go. Where were we? So, yes. I put all Tarbs in C tier because, yeah. Anyway, moving on. now we're getting super meta, tier listing my own tier list video. RuneScape characters ranked, tier listed by how good I think they would be at playing RuneScape. This one did fairly well. I like it. I think the concept is interesting. This was, again, everyone on Twitter was making tier lists of RuneScape characters doing weird things, so I jumped on that bandwagon. I think the concept is funny. I like talking about RuneScape characters in this silly meta way. Yeah, I like it. I think quite a few of them, I didn't have as much to say as I was hoping. I didn't have as many jokes to make. Some of the characters fit in very similar categories. I couldn't think of anything to say. I'm gonna put it B tier. It's live content, but I think I did a better job because there was just more to talk about. That's the nature of a tier list, is that with every object you've got an opinion to give, so there isn't too much dead air because you've always got something to say, which is probably why so many creators make so many of them. It's a pretty good video to make, so fair play. I'm discovering the YouTube meta. But in a similar vein, but nowhere near as good, RuneScape Smash or Pass. This was a concept I thought of, and in my head it was going to be really funny, but then when you actually sit down to make it, you are basically just sat for an hour saying smash, pass, smash, smash, pass. There wasn't any. It's not like you can go into details and justify your answers, like, oh, the King Black Dragon is like really hot. Like, there was a couple jokes I put in there, with like Bloodveld and stuff, but there isn't anything to say. It's nowhere near as funny as I thought it would be. It didn't do well. The joke is over in the first 3 minutes. It's like, oh, this guy's saying which RuneScape characters he wants to bang. Like, it's not that funny. I'm going to put it in D tier. The concept was funnier in my head than it was, than it was in reality. I'm glad I made it just because now it's out there and it exists. And it's like, okay, we saw it that it doesn't work, but yeah. I think the thumbnail's quite funny there. Moving on. So, the obligatory RuneScape new skill opinion piece. I like this one. I wrote a script for this one, so it's not live content, which does show in the video, and it does mean it comes out clearer. Yeah, but it does mean that it takes like 3 or 4 times longer to make. Writing a script for a video is surprisingly difficult because you write it and then you rewrite it. And yeah, it's surprisingly difficult, which is why I've tried to avoid doing it as much as possible. Writing, I really don't enjoy writing scripts. I'm going to do some more scripted content in the future, but if I can avoid it, I do try and avoid it. And I think a lot of creators do. The video itself, I think is pretty good. I got a lot of engagement with it. I think I expressed my ideas quite well. Obviously, does it change anything in the grand scheme of things? Not really, because it's not like Jetix saw it and made big decisions on it. In that video, I said I didn't like sailing, and now I've kind of warmed up a bit more to the idea. I still think it's kind of a mini game, but that ship has sailed. Nice pun. Yeah, the thumbnail, I didn't make the thumbnail. It was made by The Skuld, who is a great guy with a lot of talent. And it definitely shows because people clicked on this and the video did well. So I hope I did him justice. I'm going to put it in... I'm going to accidentally move the background. I'm going to put it in B tier. I like it. It's a new skill opinion piece. Like I can't rate it higher than that. It's not funny. It's not game changing. It's just me talking. The script brings it up a level, but it's all right. Now we're on to RuneScape Real Talk. So this is my live podcasty type series. The reason I started this series specifically, was to get better at live content. I sit in a room and I talk to myself for about an hour, and then I edit it down and it becomes a podcast, which is a great cheap way to say, unscripted content of you just talking. I also wanted to talk about more serious topics because, I make a lot of meme joke videos, but I do like to talk about serious things as well sometimes because I think those things matter and I do think they are worth talking about. But I also understand that it's never going to get anywhere near the engagement of my other stuff because who wants to sit and hear me talk about serious stuff for an hour. Very few people are going to want that, and that's fine. It's not a cash series. It's not going to make me a lot of money. It's kind of for selfish reasons in a lot of it. I want to get better at making live content. I think that's fine. So this one is about ending the PvP. This was the trial one. I did like a pilot. It's about trying to bring non-PvPers into PvP. I think the concept is good. I like the topic. I stand by everything I say in it. I wish that there was some way I could actually get the things I say in it made to make me PvP better for people like me who don't PvP. Yeah, it's fine. I'm tempted to put all these in C tier, which means I'm going to have to extend the graph. I'm going to put it there. Yeah, I think it's C tier. I think it's fine. Actually, no, you know what? I'm going to put it in D. And the reason for that is that, thinking about it now, there's recording issues with it. When I sat down to record these, I hadn't quite figured out my mic setup, so some of these... so I remember that one in particular has some mic issues that I have mostly fixed since then. So, yeah. I'm going to deduct some points for that. I've improved, but yeah. This one I think is probably the best of my real talk videos about RuneScape addiction. It's probably like the most. It's a really important topic, and I'm going to put it in B tier for that. I can't give myself more points than that because it's just a podcast. But engaging with people in the comments and hearing other people's stories, I think was actually really, really important, and I really like how that turned out. It's quite a depressing topic, but I do think it's worth talking about, and it's something that someone bigger and more important and with better communication skills than me should talk about it and make a great video on it. But I did my part, and I think it was worth doing. I'm considering putting it up to A tier because I do think it is like pretty important. Yeah, you know what? I'm putting it in A tier. I could do better, of course, but I think that the engagement I got from it was really good, and so I'm really glad that happened. So this one is about who is Jejic supposed to listen to? The third of my real talks. I like it. I think it's got some good points. The audio is a bit better than my older ones. Yeah, it addresses things that people don't often think about, which is that dealing with feedback is pretty difficult. But I'm not going to rehash all the points. I think that one definitely C tier. I shouldn't forget to talk about this. The thumbnails for the real talks are all made by W83 Official, and they are so good. So I think that definitely brings them. I can't take credit for it because I didn't make them, but the thumbnails are really good. So I'll put a link to him in this video. Make sure to do that because look how good that art is, man. That's so good with the little devil on the shoulder. It's so good. Okay, moving on. Now we are in Highlander Man. Oh, Highlander Man, my forgotten firstborn child, who is bitter and resentful of me now because I haven't brought them up in months. So, Highlander Man was my first idea. I started this channel to make Highlander Man, and it got a pretty good reception, better than I probably deserve. The concept is that I go and I do everything in RuneScape but only once, like every tree can only be chopped once. And I do still think the idea is good, and I do want to finish it just out of curiosity to see what is possible when you end it. So I'm going to talk about these as a whole because I think they all fall into a very similar boat. I really like them, but I just haven't found the time and the motivation and the mind space to make them again. The problem is that they compared to things like my Simpsons meme videos, the effort required to make these compared to the reward I get in return, views, subs, likes, engagement, the ratio is way off of these. These take way more effort than anything else I've made because I don't record live. I record and script everything. So these are completely scripted. which means that I can put in, which to me I think helps me put in the best jokes. And I edit in a lot of jokes for these, probably more than I should. It probably turns a lot of people off because it's not really like most people's videos that are very chill. There are just constant bombarded with jokes. And some people like that, but a lot of those jokes are going to be quite niche and they're only going to make sense to me. I think I probably put off as many people as I engage with them. And it takes a hell of a lot of effort to make them. Like I think I release one of these like once a month. Yeah, I really do want to finish it. I've got a bunch of footage filmed for Highlander Man episode 5, but I haven't touched it since like January. I really do hope that I come back to it. I don't know when I will. But yeah, it's how I started. The thumbnails I made, they're all references to like action movies. This one's a reference to Highlander. This one's a reference to Cobra. This one's a reference to Running Man, and this one's a reference to RoboCop. And I am really proud of that. But yeah, there's a lot of issues with releasing series on YouTube. Is if you're releasing a series on YouTube, if people haven't watched the first episode, it doesn't recommend them episodes further down the line, mostly. So as you go down the chain, you get less and less views, so it becomes less and less worth it to continue. I really do hope I come back and finish it. I don't know if I ever will. It's hard to get motivated to make something that you know isn't going to do that well. And it doesn't really line up with the sort of with the way that I do things. Like I have to sit and play RuneScape. Yeah, and obviously I play a lot of RuneScape, but you have to play it in this weird way to get good footage and script everything as I go. And yeah, maybe if I come back to it, I'll probably tone down the jokes so that I can get them out in a reasonable time. I don't know. So where do I put them? Episode 1 I'm going to put in D tier because it's my first video and I do think I did alright, but there's a lot of mistakes I've made, so that's why I'm putting it in there. These two I think I'm going to put in B tier. There's a lot of really good jokes in there that I wish the videos got more views just so that people could see those jokes. Like there's the joke where I make it into like a 2004 Windows Media Player video, like Movie Maker video. That joke, I was so proud of that one. But they're cursed to exist in the middle of some weird ass series that no one's gonna see. As for episode 4, I think episode 4 is too long. I made it 34 minutes. I should have cut it into 2 videos and released it like that. So I'm going to put that in C tier. And yes, I do know I need to make this wider again. I think I might drag them under a bit and have them overlap. Yeah, otherwise I'm going to be here all day trying to extend it, and then they're going to get even smaller and you're not going to be able to see them. So we'll do that. You can still tell what they are, hopefully. Yeah, so Highlander Man. I occasionally get questions about this, but most people from my channel, on my channel, have never even seen Highlander Man. The concept is good, but it's just I don't have the. It's just I don't have the time to make it as much as I'd like. I don't have the. It doesn't get the response I would like. It's the eternal struggle of a creator between making what you want to make and making what is going to do well. And my goal is to grow this channel, and if a video I make isn't going to do that, it's hard to justify making it. So yeah, I really do hope I come back to it at some time, because I really do like the idea, and my curiosity is burning within me to find out what actually will be the end point of that series. So yeah, I hope it does make a comeback. Next is Everywhere at the End of RuneScape, and there's a lot of these. Yeah, so Everywhere at the End of RuneScape. This is eternally cursed to be this weird niche thing that most people won't understand. So Everywhere at the End of RuneScape is based on a music piece by The Caretaker that is called Everywhere at the End of Time. It's fairly famous, so I think a lot of people will know that it exists. But the crossover from that to RuneScape is not going to be that big. Like the Venn diagram is not going to have much crossover. It's a dementia simulator. It's designed to create this weird like fear within you of losing your mind. and I've made a RuneScape version of it. It's a weird choice. Again, I made this because I wanted to get better at music editing, audio editing in general. I wanted to create this feeling of like remembering RuneScape when you're old, or like the servers falling over as the game gets old. It's incredibly esoteric, really hipstery, very pretentious. I don't really expect many people to be into it, but I really like it. I listen to it all the time. I'm happy with how it turned out. So let's start from the beginning. So number 1 is what did I call it? Just a burnt out old game, and that one is sampled from Newbie Melody. I think it's too simple. It's just a simple loop. I think it could be done better. But I think it does fit the themes of the original, so C tier. The next one in the series is, I'm pretty sure this was the next one. This was We Don't Get Many Updates, I think. This one's based off Harmony, which is one of my favorite songs. I'm going to put it in B tier. I really like this one. It's got way more layers. I made it way more complicated. I love the way that it cuts in and out between the different parts and the way it trails off in the end. Let's trim these down so we actually have some space for it. Oh, I'll mention now as well, the order left to right, I'm not going to bother ranking them by that. It would be incredibly arbitrary and no one wants to watch me do that. So everything in the same tier is the same level, and I haven't ranked them within the tier. I don't think it's worth it. But anyway, this one, yeah, I really like that one. I think that one came out really well. The next one in the series is this one, Late Afternoon Skilling. Again, I really like that one. I'm tempted to put that in A tier actually. Yeah, I'm gonna move these up to A tier actually. I really like them. These are some of the ones I listen to more often. The next one in the series is, I think it's this one, which is called The Magic Fades. And again, this one's very simple. I'm gonna put it in C tier. It's a very simple loop, but that's on purpose. I was aiming to make a more simple one because a lot of the actual source, the inspiration material in Everywhere at the End of Time is actually, I don't want to say just, because saying just kind of takes away from it. It is really well made, but at its essence, it is sections of songs looped with effects added, and that is the same as what this is. So it is true to the source material, but I prefer the more complicated ones like these two that add more layers and changes and stuff that make it more interesting. And in that realm, this one is probably one of my favorites. I can't remember what I called it. Slightly Lagging, that's what it's called. Changing the layer it's on is going to be a nightmare, so I'm not going to bother trying to do that. But yeah, I really like that one. It's one of the longest ones, the way it cuts between like 3 or 4 different songs. It's, yeah, trying to create this impression of like the game glitching out and it can't figure out which song to make. Yeah, I really like that one. That's probably my favorite one out of all of them. Next in the series is this one, which is called Everything We Did Was Real. And I like this one because it uses the organ music, which I didn't even know existed in the game. But when I found it, I was like, I have to use this. If you play the church organs in certain places, then the song this is based on can come out. It's very short because the original organ piece is short, and it really pains me that as soon as the song starts to get good, it ends and starts fading out, which is why I've got that second loop to try and extend it a bit more. If I was good at playing music, I would try and like extend it by playing it myself on a keyboard or something, but I can't do that because I don't have any musical talent. But yeah, I really like this one. It's quite simple, but the original, the organ thing it's based off is really nice. And yeah, I think it creates a really nice feeling. The next one is Quietly Remembered Battles, which is based off Principality, which is again one of my favorite RuneScape songs. There is also Dark playing with it in the background. I tried really hard to create more layers to this, but nothing I tried really worked, so I left it simple. I really wanted it to be more, but I couldn't find anything I liked, so I finished it as is. I'm going to put it in B because I do still really like it, and I do listen to it quite a bit. But I wish I'd come up with something more for it. but it just didn't come together that way, and that's okay, I guess. And this is the last one in it, and it's called Server Shutdown Enjoy. I think it could be better. I'm going to put it in C tier, really. So I put that in C tier. I really think it could be better. For the last track in the, quote, album, I wanted it to be better, but it didn't turn out that great. I couldn't think of the ideas that I really wanted for it. It wasn't really clicking with me. I like it, and the way that it ends at the end with just the RuneScape, start jingle, and just that sort of like hollow end. I do like that, but it had to be short because I have this goal to put the whole album on like a vinyl record, but a vinyl record can only hold so much, and it can only hold like 36 minutes, so I was running out of space on the record. I haven't made it yet because it's really expensive and I can't afford it, but one day when I can afford it, I'm going to get it pressed onto a record. I'm going to play it on a record player because yes, I am one of those people that likes records, and it's going to be beautiful. But yeah, I think for the final song on the album, I really think it should be better, but I just couldn't think of anything better, so that's how it ended up. Right, as you can probably tell, my voice is starting to go, and you're probably getting sick of listening to me, so I will assure you, we're almost done. Wow, so how many people know about these? These are my live streams. I wanted to get into live streaming because I wanted to get, again, better at making live content and more exposure and also just confidence. I'm a very nervous person. I don't have very much confidence in myself, and I wanted to try and use live streaming as a way to try and get more confidence. But after the first two, I'd sort of just put it on hold because I don't really have the following for it. I got a few viewers, and I'm really grateful. If you're one of those people that came to the live stream, like, thank you so much for coming and hanging out with me, because I really didn't deserve your time. But ultimately, I decided there's better ways to spend my time at the minute to help me grow. My time is better spent making videos. These as content, they're not very good. I'm going to put them in cringe tier. So this first one was just a RuneScape stream. I did Lizardman Shamans. I died twice because I was distracted by chat. I did do a stream on Twitch before this, but no one came because Twitch discoverability sucks, and that's fine. So then I did it on YouTube. Yeah, I did Lizardman Shamans. I died twice. I went to Barrows for a bit. I got very tired. I streamed for about 3 hours. Will I do streams in the future? Maybe. I'm not against it. I don't think I'm much of a streamer. I'm not very good at filling the dead air. I think I can get better at it, but it's something I prefer to do if I had a really interesting idea that would be better for a stream. Like if I was doing some RuneScape Battle Simulator, some TARBs, and everyone in the chat was one of the goblins, and something like that. If I had an interesting idea, or like a chaos mod or something, where the chat can interact with me in some meaningful way, that to me is like really good stream content, and that's the sort of thing I'd really like to make. I haven't got around to trying to make that stuff, and I don't think I've really got the following to support that sort of thing yet. But if I do get to that level, I will try and make that sort of stuff. And this isn't even a RuneScape video. This was me playing Digimon World for the PS1. Again, I'm going to put it in cringe tier because my audio balancing was whack. There's large parts where I don't say anything. I was trying to get my bearings for streaming. I didn't get there yet. I'll come back to it in the future, but I gave it a go, and I'm glad that I tried at least. But yeah, they're pretty cringe. Don't watch them. And the last one, and how fitting, every old school RuneScape YouTuber. And then, although I've said this is the last one, I can see that there's one missing, which I'm going to have to go and find. Anyway, let me get this out first. So, every old school RuneScape YouTuber. So this was a joke that was funny in concept. Like the concept of the video, I think, is funnier than the execution. I'm just listing the names of every RuneScape YouTuber that I could find, stopping at 100. It takes a surprising amount of time to make because you have to go and screenshot them all individually and compile them in this big video. It's basically just a big shout out to a bunch of people. It did quite well. Everyone turned up, and if their name was on it, they were very happy to be in it, which I'm surprised at because it's not like I actually did anything for them. It's a really silly video. And loads of people came in the comments to tell me like people that I'd missed, and it's like, you know, some of them I should have got because I did know them, and some of them I didn't even know. It really goes to show how many amazing content creators we have for RuneScape. Like, we are really blessed. I don't know many games that have this dedicated of a creator scene, and I'm not talking about me, I'm talking about other people. Like, there are so many good people out there. I will make a part 2 to this at some point when I get around to it, because there are more than enough people that I missed to warrant a part 2. Video wise, I'm going to put it in C. It's me reading names off a list. Like, I can't put it any higher than that. I like that people liked it. The concept, I think, is funny, but execution wise, there's not much to it. So there it is. Yeah, I had to go grab that because I forgot to put it in, and I have a full screen. There we go. So this one is I turned all my subscribers into goblins. I just remembered it because I talked about live content. I made this because I wanted to do something for my subscribers, because, you know, I appreciate all of you guys. So I turned you all into goblins and made you fight to the death, which I think is reasonable. But again, it has the same problem as my other live content. There's a lot of dead air. I couldn't think of anything good to say. Like, how do you do it? Are you supposed to cast it? You know, get really esports caster into it? Maybe, but that just feels cringe to me. I don't think I could do that in a way that would actually be funny to listen to. I'm going to put it in C tier again, because, you know, same reasons as the other battle simulators. The concept is good, but my execution doesn't do it justice. But it's the sort of thing that would be really good for live streams if I ever get to that point. And there we go. That is every single video that isn't a duplicate ranked in a tier list. Lots of middle of the road C tier stuff, which is fine. Honestly, I was expecting there to be more lower tier cringe stuff, but watching it back, I'm pretty funny. No, I'm very proud of what I've made. When I started this, I didn't really expect to get anywhere. Like, obviously I'm trying my best, but the fact that there are people in the world who are willing to sit and spend their time watching my stupid antics on the internet is kind of a miracle, and I feel incredibly blessed. So thank you all so much for being here. It was fun to take this trip down memory lane. I think I'm going to try and do this every year. I'm going to review the previous year to see how I've improved. It's mostly a selfish thing. I want to see how much better I've gotten. But personally, I like seeing other creators when they're really transparent with their content. You know, how they made it, what they got from it, what they learned. I really enjoy that. So I'm hoping some other people enjoy that too. Because, you know, I like making this sort of stuff. Yeah, it's very meta, but this is how I rank my videos. If you've seen them all, you're a true Render fan. If you haven't seen them all and you like some of them, go and find them. They're all there on my channel. Maybe there's probably some stuff in here that you didn't even realize I made, because I make some weird stuff, and that's fine. But yeah, seeing them all in front of me like that is like, wow, did I really make that much? According to YouTube, I've made 83 videos. Now that includes shorts, so some of those don't count, but that's a lot of videos in a year, at least for me. And yeah, to get 1,000 subscribers in your first year, a lot of people don't achieve that, and I'm incredibly lucky. So thank you all so much. More videos obviously are on the way, more funny stuff, but also some other things that I've got planned. I'm going to try and really branch out into some more things. So yeah, I'm just waffling now, so I think it's time we wrap this up. Thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. Subscribe if you haven't. If you've somehow stumbled onto this video without knowing who I am, and you've listened this far, then come on, just press the button, man. And yeah, thank you for listening. See ya.